But that basically kind of takes your power away. But remember, we're powerful beings. Divine timing is something we can create, and we can create it by becoming the type of person who has what we desire. And you do that by kind of thinking in your mind is if you were living the life that you want, or you had the things you want in life, what kind of things would you think about? How would you feel if you were living the life you want? What kind of behaviors would you have? What would you do on a daily basis? You could even think, how would you walk? How would you talk? What kind of things would you talk about? How would you react to certain situations? Those are things that it's important to think about. And then what you could do is once you have that in your head, that ideal version of you, then begin to embody as many of those traits as you can. So say if you want to be financially abundant, maybe you would compliment people every day. You would be nicer to your family. You would buy a car and you would go on walks every day. Well, maybe you can't buy a car now, but you can be nicer to people. You can compliment people. Because remember, you associated this with being financially abundant. So when you start doing these things now, the universe says, oh, well, something's changed. He must be financially abundant. And it starts sending you situations that improve your finances. And it also tells you that you're doing better financially. So you unconsciously start doing actions that improve your finances without realizing it. So it's all about becoming that person now. So another example of this that I really like is it's from The Secret, and it's about your behaviors and your environment. So in The Secret, I remember reading about this woman who she'd been visualizing, she'd been affirming for her Prince Charming, her soulmate, basically, and nothing was happening. And I believe years had gone by and nothing happened. And then one day she came home and parked in her garage, and she parked right in the middle of her garage. And then it kind of hit like a light bulb went off in her head. She's like, oh my God, if I had my Prince Charming, I wouldn't be parking in the middle of my garage. I'd be parking to one side of my garage so that I have room for my soulmate. And she's like, and she immediately cleaned out her garage, parked to one side of the garage, and then she walked up to her house. And I believe she looked in her closet. The closet was completely filled with clothes. And she thought, like, well, what is this saying to the universe? If my closet is filled with clothes, that means I'm alone. I don't have anyone. So she cleaned out her closet and she basically took half of the closet and cleaned it so that she made room for her soulmate, because that's saying to the universe, hey, I have my Prince Charming. And another thing she did was when she went to bed that night, she realized that she was laying in the middle of the bed. And you know what that says. So she started laying on her side of the bed, quote unquote, so that she left room for her Prince Charming. So within a very short period of time, the man that she wanted came into her life. And that just goes to show you, when you change your environment and when you change your behaviors, you're sending out a different signal to the universe, and the universe brings back situations to reflect that. So I guess my question to you all is, do you have anything in your life that you've been desiring or that you've been wanting, and your actions are contradicting it? You want to make sure that your actions are going along with what you want. You want your actions to say to the universe that I have what I want. All right, does that make sense, everyone? Yes. So just think of one or two things in your life that you can do that for. But it's not only actions, of course. We want to talk about feelings as well. And honestly, feelings is one of the most important things, because whatever we feel is emitting a direct signal to the universe at all times. So basically, you want to change the way you feel. I always like to say, you've heard the saying, when you change the way you look at a situation, the situation changes. Well, I want to like change that a little bit. When you change the way you feel about a situation, the situation changes, because whatever you feel, you draw into your experience. So say, we'll go with the financially abundant example. So if you want to be financially abundant, maybe you feel happy and grateful. So then you want to focus on the things in your life now that make you feel happy and grateful. That way you're emitting that signal as much as possible to the universe. So you're attracting that financial abundance to you, but then also it just feels good to do. And your life just gets better anyway, because when you're putting out a better signal to the universe, a more higher vibrational, because higher vibrational emotions feel better. So when you're putting that out to the universe, you're just attracting better things into your life just in general. Another thing with feelings is if you're reacting a certain way to situations, because Maybe you want a relationship or something and you always get jealous when you see a couple. Well, that jealousy that you feel is actually pushing away your relationship. So you want to find ways of preventing that from happening. You want to find ways of feeling better when you see a couple. So there's a couple ways you could do that, but one of my favorite ways is if you find that you're really having trouble getting rid of a certain emotion, like no matter what you do, it always seems to come up. One thing you could do is just kind of, when that emotion comes up, you can just sit with it. You've maybe heard the term "feel it to heal it." Well, that's kind of what that refers to, is when the emotion comes up and it won't stop nagging you. Just literally sit with it. And so maybe you feel, a lot of people tend to feel emotions in their heart center area, is what I've noticed, but you can feel it anywhere. Just sit with it for a few minutes. Like, don't get lost in the thought, just sit with the emotion in itself. And a lot of times when you start to, because all of our emotions want to be felt. When you try to push down emotions, like, oh, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to feel, you actually, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually release the emotion. It just pushes it down. And then whatever gets pushed down, like a cork, it comes back up, and it keeps coming back up until you confront it. So all you have to do is just let yourself feel the emotion and it doesn't have to be for longer, just be for a few minutes. Let yourself feel it. You could even give it a hug because it just wants to be loved. And that actually, doing that act helps release the emotion, the suppressed emotion. Now, I've mentioned this before, but all emotions tend to have many beliefs and thoughts attached to them. They tend to have hundreds, even thousands of thoughts attached to them. So as you release that emotion, you're releasing all of the thoughts attached to that emotion. So oftentimes you're releasing hundreds, if not thousands of thoughts within a short period of time. So it's just an efficient way to release a negative emotion. And that way you naturally vibrate at a higher frequency. And when you're vibrating higher, you're emitting a new signal to the universe and you're attracting better things into your life, just naturally. And so that way, when you do go to focus on gratitude, because I always say, and gratitude is extremely important. So that way, when you do focus on gratitude, you can feel it so much more strongly. And then when you see that couple, you won't get jealous. You know, that's an example that seems to be pretty common. That's why I mentioned that. So another thing you can change is, another way is visualization as well. So, when you figure out how you would be in your ideal circumstances, in your ideal life, you can actually, if you relax your body, when you're relaxed, your unconscious mind, which controls 95% of our behaviors and actions, when you're relaxed, you're able to basically put whatever information you want into it, and it becomes your reality much quicker. So if you actually get your body in a very relaxed state and you start to visualize the life you want, you'll actually bring that into your existence a lot quicker. So you can literally take some deep breaths. You can relax, make sure you're not tense at all, relax your muscles. And that actually, boom, when you're in that state, when you're very relaxed, your unconscious is ready to receive whatever information you have. So you can visualize yourself being that ideal person, living your ideal life. And you literally rewire your brain to become that. And if you throw in emotion with it as well, that's what actually helps your body become just like that. And you're emitting that signal even more strongly to the universe. So that's the power of visualization. The more you do it, the more you become that person. So another thing that is good is actually stepping out of your comfort zone. I remember seeing this video some years ago. It was this girl, she was doing a TED talk, and she was going to jump off. It was a really high distance. She was doing something where you jump off. It was maybe bungee jump. It was something like that. But I remember she was too scared to do it, so she was going to back down. And then she saw this quote. It said, "Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone." And something about that just clicked in her brain. She's like, "I have to do this," and she goes and jumps. And it was a beautiful talk. But sometimes the thing that's holding us back is us just staying in our shell, not doing anything new. And there is the type of action that attracts what we want, but then there's also the type of action that moves us forward to our goal. Because we want both. We want to attract our desires into our life, but we also want to move toward our desires. And so oftentimes it's fear that's holding us back. And another thing she said in that video is, it's never as scary as it looks, and you're more capable than you think you are. And that's true. Oftentimes we have these fears that we draw on in our head, and 99 to 100% of the time, they never come true. Unless you like excessively draw on them, then you'll probably manifest it. But in general, usually they don't come true. So stepping out of your comfort zone at least once a day, doing something different that brings you toward your desire is that's big, you know, and oftentimes it's just that one action that's going to take you to where you want to be. They often say that the thing that you're scared to do the most is the thing that's going to change your life the most. So my question is to you is, do you all have anything in your life, just it could even just be one thing that you've been holding off because of fear that you can do today, or at least in the next week? So yeah, another thing that is good, because remember, we're talking about creating divine timing. We're talking about becoming that person. And oftentimes the content you consume creates who you are as well. So if you're watching a lot of like fear-based media, that's brainwashing you, and that's lowering your vibration. I know we all have an energy field around us, and when we're in fear, that energy field shrinks and we have less of an effect on reality. So when you actually they found that when you actually cut like the news out and media and whatnot, your vibration increases, but quickly. And when you're able to feel higher vibrational emotions like gratitude, love, and joy, your energy field around your body actually expands. And this isn't pseudoscience. They've literally proven this. They have machines that measure this stuff. When you're able to feel elation and joy, your energy field expands. You actually have more of an effect on reality than you would have if you were feeling a lower vibrational emotion. Okay, so I want to see if anyone in the audience, if they have one thing that they could do that would imply that they have their desire. So if something that you've been wanting, something that you've been desiring, could I get like 2 or 3 people to tell me like one thing they can start doing now that's easy, that could change their life? And any volunteers? Go ahead.
Okay, so I love you. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, like one thing, like,
and
I tried and that was not happening. I'm gonna ask the universe. Left it alone. Give it another thought. Oh, want to set it up? It was this. Oh, I know that. All you have to do was this. I'm like, oh, that was.
Yeah, just like that.
So calibrating to the feeling of relief. That goes, oh, that's. So but the other thing with me, finished 3 of them. And I can't. Well, one is still in progress. I've had too much of this. But those are the ones. So I'm thinking. So here's my vibration, because it's easy to talk about. Oh, change the way you feel, but how do you do that? So
exactly.
So I'm going to do a talk. I'm going to give you a book. It's like it's all. So it's good to know when you're. Good to know when you're not. It's
Yep, super important.
And it's also good to know not to take action and be okay with that. But either way, it's all good. So I'm trying to apply it for other projects. But you got to make it all good.
Yep, you do. No matter where you're at.
If I sit, but I'm starting, all good.
Yep, exactly. Yep. No matter where you're at, it's all good. Please do. I'm curious. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yep. And I'm glad you mentioned aligned action too, because oftentimes when we take action from a place of desperosity or what's the word? Like you're too overly attached to an outcome. Like I gotta have this, and you tend to resist what you want and you push it away. Versus when you take action, when you're feeling love or elation, that thing tends to come to you more easily. So I'm glad you mentioned that too. So thank you. And I saw one other hand here. Go ahead.
Simple. I predominantly work from home, and my office is, I've got papers from DC as
for computers because
Mhm.
I'm afraid if I let them go, I'm gonna need that one document that's gonna do, I don't know what.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Mhm.
want a clear feng shui-ish, whatever,
Mhm.
easy office area, but I gotta let go of paperwork.
Mhm.
Trust that I'll find it on the computer if I need to Google something odd,
Mhm.
but down to my papers.
That's understandable because you think like right when you get rid of it, the one time you're gonna need it.
Absolutely,
Yep. Mhm. I understand that.
I will disappear those papers.
Good. Awesome. Yes. All right. Anyone else or go ahead, Raven.
Just me, listen to everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Picking what I say, I'm gonna
Mm.
go out and make that.
Mhm.
Like a week ago, I started every day, 400 words. And I don't know what happened. I haven't been doing it.
Mhm.
So thank you. And come back.
Mhm. It's easy to do. It's easy to do. Mhm. Awesome. Thank you, Raven, for sharing. Okay. Awesome. And just for personally, one thing that I do want to do in my life, it's something that I've been slacking on lately, is not terribly, but a little bit with procrastination. And I kind of link up in my brain that if I was financially abundant and super successful, I would do things immediately. Like I would, like if I have a thought like, oh, I want some water, boom, get water. Oh, I want to call so and so, boom, call them right, like no hesitation, like right away. So that's something that I need to do in my life to affirm that I'm financially abundant and that's the person I am. So, but yes, thank you all for sharing. As because my talk is almost over, so it's about that time, and I usually run out of time too. So this is good. 5 more, okay. Um, okay, excellent. So, but yeah, I just want to say that we can become anything we want in this life, and there's so much stuff out there that disempowers you, that tells you that you can't do it. But I want to let you know that you can. At any moment, I'm not saying you can necessarily manifest your desire like just boom in 5 seconds, but you can become that person now, and you can start to set the forces in motion that bring what you want into your life. And then also, when you become that person that you want, I mean, it just feels good because we didn't come here to live someone else's life. We came here to be our true, authentic selves. And when you do this, when you think about that life you want to live and you become that person now and you act like you have it, that's actually you being completely authentic. That's not fake at all because that's your desire. That's coming from the core of who you are. So when you become that person now, that's the true you. I mean, you're happier, and people might wonder what's going on. And oftentimes people always ask me like how do I change so and so, or how do I change this person, and I always give them yes, and I usually give them two answers. I say one, when you change on the inside, everyone else around you conforms. People on your outside changes because as within, so without, or as above, so below. When you change the inside, your outside will change. And that goes along with what I said at the beginning. We attract what we are. The second thing I tell them is when you change and become that person you want to be, people are going to see you succeeding. People are going to see you being happy, and they're going to wonder, what's this person doing? Like, I want some of what they're having, like they're going to wonder and you can tell them. And then because people are drawn to that when you're being authentic, when you're happy, when you're living the life you want, people wonder, like, what are you doing? And then maybe they'll be influenced, but you can never force change. Never try to force the outside. Just work on yourself and people will conform and they'll follow. So that's all I have for today. I just want to thank you all for listening. Thank you. Awesome.
Anybody have any more questions?
Yes.
Anybody? Okay, we have one question.
One of the best Susan
Mhm.
Britain's Got Talent, this
Ooh.
older, squidgy, frumpy looking woman
Mhm.
followed her path, didn't care what people thought, and opened her mouth. And I was watching a documentary on how
Mhm.
every word is that authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Looks don't matter. And she is a beautiful. They get her made up and stuff. She looks really beautiful. But she is so authentic that
Mhm.
people can't help one feet around her, no matter where
Exactly.
she shows up.
Mhm.
And she doesn't even do anything to be there and smile. But she also said, she got in that zone.
Exactly.
Just
Yep.
go by yourself. When you're in that zone, oh, and she sold more reference. I mean, she is such an example of law of attraction. And
Mhm.
knowing in the highs and lows that go with the more high you are, you're not aligned. Worse it feels when you're not on the
Yes,
line,
so
and you
true.
have
So
high
true. Yep, I've
anxiety.
experienced that.
Right. So, but
Mhm.
she's like the best example that has made boom that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Unemployed, told her, and now she's not famous.
Yeah.
When you
Wow.
look at her, the equation's simple. All she did was I have this offer, open my mouth, give it my best, everything. You know, so
Wow.
I keep
Mhm.
thinking, ooh, I want to be that kind of person. I do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Being in your zone, being that fully authentic you, and just going at it.
But it's a
With the full-
demonstration about books, about wardrobe, about any of that.
Mhm.
It's not even about education.
Right.
She has a disability. Yeah. That's so if she can do it. We
Mm-hmm. It's about that energy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've not
Beautiful.
seen that. Just if you put
oh,
Susan
have to
Boyle
see
in
that.
YouTube, it'll show you her original thing, and it is amazing.
Magical.
You know.
I'm gonna check it out too. Susan Boyle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it was
And this
2000.
little thing oh my God, it really changed.
It's English, right?
She's English, yeah. Her original audition. written that. But as soon as she opened her mouth, everything started. So you have
Wow.
to look
Yeah. I'm going to.
And they
Yeah.
were
Right
kinda
after
making
this,
fun of
actually.
her on stage. As soon as she opened her mouth,
Everything changed. Yeah. Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
I mean,
Any other question? Do we have time for
Uh,
another
I
question? or
really
Not
don't.
time. Okay.
sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I wish.
Anybody else? You can talk. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. To usher in our time for healing, truth, and messages from Spirit, please rise for our next song, and that would be I Release and Let Go on page 28.